What's up, guys? Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. So today we're going to talk about vascularity and how to eat to get vascular. And that's a key word there, eat to get vascular, because as you're going to see here in a second, that is where we're going to start and keep this whole conversation revolved around. But it starts actually, first and foremost, from where this actually came from. A post was made on Instagram and on Facebook last week, and I thank you, those of you that actually pointed this out to me. I'll link it and I'll actually pin it down below. This post was by my childhood icon, Sylvester Stallone, okay? And he had some incredibly complimentary things to say about me and about ATHLEAN-X, and I have to say, coming from the person that single-handedly influenced me to pursue this career path in the first place as a very young kid, I can't tell you what it means to me, and I'm incredibly humbled by that, and I thank you for leaving those comments. And again, I thank those of you who thought enough and knew my history and my connection with him to remind me and post that for me. But like I said, I'll put that down below. In that post, which is what it looked like here on Instagram, Sly talked about this topic of vascularity. He had gotten to a point where he was so vascular that he joked about even having veins in his hair. And I think I can relate at times to that concept. I even have one around my freaking eye socket here that you guys point out a lot of times in my videos for me. Thank you for making me self-conscious, by the way. So, you know, vascularity, as I said before, and I'm going to tell this to you guys as no BS as it gets. If you're not committed to lowering your body fat level to at least 10%, then don't commit to this idea of you being vascular. Because I don't care what foods you eat, what supplements you take, what other things you do, even the training style that you follow, if you're not committed to proper nutrition, which puts you in a hypocaloric state, and not a big one, which we'll talk about in a second, but in a hypocaloric state, you're not going to drop body fat, you're not going to get down low enough to be able to start seeing that vascularity. And so what is that goal? As I said, 10% is a good rough goal. Some people could look more vascular than others at 10% body fat. A lot of that could be even do with your current state of hydration. But I'm talking about long-term, what you look like. You want to get down to that level. Every percentage point that you can get below that, you're starting to look more and more vascular. You start to see them in your chest. You start to see them in your shoulders. You start to see them in your abs. It drops. As you drop down, the amount of vascularity will significantly increase. So we talked about being hypocaloric. How are you going to get there? In that post that Stallone left, he talked about a point where he was eating 1,500 calories. Now, this is a guy that was filming movies and was actively, pretty much on his feet all day long. He didn't even have, and training, he didn't even have enough energy to get through his workouts, because what he was doing was he was restricting his calories well below baseline in an effort to get ripped even faster, and also focus on eating healthy fats, which is critical, but fats being more calorically dense than proteins or carbohydrates will also quickly take up the amount of volume that you can eat in a day, right? Because a pat of butter is only that much, where maybe a plate full of broccoli this is 114 calories, this is 114 calories of broccoli. You can eat more volume when you do that, and therefore maybe stay more satiated by eating the other foods, but that's not how he did it. So when you start adopting methods of eating that dramatically alter your ability to remain consistent with them, you're done. Forget vascularity. Because vascularity is something you need to approach very slowly. Vascularity is something that you need to do over the course of many, many, many weeks. You need to stay in that sort of small level of deficit so that you can gradually drop body fat, but still have the ability to maintain energy to train hard, still have the ability to maintain the energy to train hard enough to build muscle. Increase your protein intake, as I pointed out in our other videos before, to be able to adapt to your needs for staying in positive nitrogen balance, to be able to still put on muscle while you're dropping some body fat. All this needs to be in place, and if you're not committed to doing that, as I said, forget it. It's not in the cards for you, okay? But when you are committed there are some other things you can do. Within that nutrition and that healthy eating style, there's foods that are actually niacin rich that can help in terms of vascularization. There's foods that are nitrate rich, and I'm talking about plant-based nitrates, not animal-based nitrates, for the very sake of the fact that these can eventually convert into nitric oxide, which is what you've probably heard many, many times in terms of supplementation. Agmatine, citrulline malate, arginine, things that actually increase that in your body to increase vascularization or vasodilation. That's all good if the nutrition's already in place. Those supplementary additions can be great. And that's why I think pre-workouts have become so popular and why people seek the pump. Because they work. They definitely work. But if you're looking for vascularity, if you're taking these pre-workouts and you're buried in 25% body fat, you ain't going to see anything pop out. They're not going to melt away the body fat. So from the training standpoint, can you do anything from a training standpoint? You can increase capillary density by doing higher rep work, longer duration. That's all good, but again, that is not going to have this changing effect on how you actually look unless the body fat's there. So it's not even really worth discussing in this context. But the bottom line here is this. From a realistic standpoint, vascularity is something that is not for everybody. If it is something that you're seeking to do, you can do it. It must start with nutrition. It could be helped by supplementation, but both of them and all of it must be wrapped around an expectation that is elongated in terms of it's going to take you some time. And if you do that and you have an eating plan that allows you to stay with something consistently, then you're going to see the results and you're going to see that vascularity. All right, so we have another, come over here, Jesse. We have somebody, look at the vascularity on Jesse. It actually brings up one other point. See, he's actually getting the cavalier vascularity here. Nice job, Jesse. The fact is, Jesse's a thin person. So if you're out there and you're already lean, vascularity is probably not a problem for you. As you put on more muscle, it's going to become even easier for you to remain vascular because your metabolic rate will go up with the more active tissue of muscle actually burning through more calories. So it's not going to be your problem. He needs to eat more calories to be able to support his muscle growth. He doesn't need to be hypocaloric. But if you're somebody that knows that you're overweight, need to lose body fat, start with nutrition, stick with nutrition, get it locked in, then start looking for other things from there. Lastly, guys, again, one more time, I want to thank you out there who brought the post to my attention. Sylvester Stallone, I want to thank you for inspiring me, and not just me, but many, many others to this day with everything you've done and how you stay committed to the goal. 70 years old, still doing it, looks better than me, I swear to God. So again, guys, if you're looking for a program that leads you to the proper nutrition, expectations, and the right training, and does it in a no BS way, head to ATHLEAN-X.com. Let me know what else you want me to cover here in the future videos, and I'll do my best to do that for you guys. I'm glad to make the videos that you want me to cover here. All right, I'll see you soon.